I look like a right pleb.
Just in time to say that live.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, I saw those ideas floating around that we should be a little bit more dressed.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So I took my coat that was sitting over there and put
It
it
was
on
right
just
over
now.
there.
Yeah.
That is sharpish, man. Do you think you could find a couple of minutes of something to talk about by your lonesome? I want to get something snappy as well, since we're doing this.
Okay, do that.
All right.
Hey everybody, welcome to HEX Foodies YouTube live chat. You are welcome to join us Tuesdays noon Central. Let's see, today's date is 4/12/22. Yes, it is 2022 these days. If you're still surviving, you might like to talk about surviving. That's a common topic these days, besides the charts. Hexicans seem to be thinking similarly. And I have been staying up really late into the evening in Twitter Spaces. And that's where basically I come to you from now. I went to the chiropractor the other day and they had this little pin that just boom, and then just boom, and then boom. And, on all the little points. And I actually think that this person helped me out so much. Quite possibly, they it could have been a better chiropractor session than the more physical grabbing, pushing, pulling. I'm going to get you in this position, that position, crack your neck. Do you feel okay? Do you feel a little dazed from that? Instead, every once in a while, this chiropractor would ask me to stand up and uh, do a little bit of motion and then get back on the table. And then, oh, I noticed that your one foot's longer than the other again. And so he'd continue to correct that sort of thing. But these days, it's an interior problem. It's so deep inside there. Somebody in one of the Twitter spaces, um, he's he was 18 this morning. He talked to Jim Rat Crypto. He's like 18 and wondering what steroids he should be taking at the gym. And Jim Rat was like, "How old are you?" 18. Bro, do not take that stuff. Like, your body has not developed enough. And what I was going to say was later on down the road, when it is that you're my age, your recovery or rehab time period or capabilities at all might go away. I don't know. I don't know. Y'all take care of your bodies. That's what this part of what this group's about. So a show and tell item. Whenever it was that people were talking about getting rid of parasites, deparasiting, I went out and got some black walnut. Oh, there it is. Wormwood complex. Get it at any one of your health food stores. I've been taking 2 full droplets or droppers of this a day in the morning to start out my day. So that's my hydrate.
Nice, man. Gosh darn it. I'm
Okay,
not cursing anymore.
so let's talk about some crypto.
Yeah,
Let's talk about how
mister.
crypto is changing the world.
Yeah, I do have to confess the last thing I did was I hauled about 150 liters of dirt on my back from the car to the house. But other than that, yeah, been wearing a suit almost the entire day.
I
Well, the
wish that
last 5 minutes at least.
I wish that I had gotten dirt. That was my idea yesterday. I'm going to do that today. Go down there to the dump and get some of that recycled wood shavings, the mulch that's prepared. And so they'll give it out free whenever you're doing like landscaping and you've got a utility bill and everything. They'll give you 1 truckload per month free. And so it's like it's wood chips that were transported to a central Texas location. It was industrialized, manufactured, whatever, given it space and turned over, and then brought back into town. And it's either for sale or free. And they make it so that the people in the town are able to beautify their spaces. And so I've been mulching everything. I highly advise that for everybody. And there's a certain spot that I missed, so it's on my to-do list. That's why I bring that up right now.
Yeah, I've got
What was your thing?
I've got like like garden beds to do a lot. I think we're gonna go like maybe 12 to 10 beds or something. I'm thinking maybe 20 meters per bed. That'd be
And these are
pretty.
rows.
Yeah.
Did you already
So I'm
place?
gonna make them like about 70 centimeters, which is, I think it's about, how much do you think it would be? Maybe 70. Still, you can you can step over the bench onto the pathway between the benches, and I'm gonna have the pathways covered in sawdust. Pretty much like, yeah, I'm gonna have a ton of mulch on the paths and the walkways, and a little bit of compost on top of the beds. But they won't. Yeah, maybe I'll have to buy actually quite a bit of compost the first year. I'm just gonna turn on YouTube so we get a few viewers so that we'll be spotted by HEX streamers.
What are you talking about, HEX streamers?
I opened the stream on my phone so that we get a few viewers in.
Oh, right.
So
Appreciate
that
it.
HEX streamers picks us up. I'm also gonna spam the UK chat.
Yeah. Did you see the little thumbnail that I made for this?
Just real quick, because I was in a bit of a hurry. Let's see what you got there.
I don't know.
What is that?
I don't know. Ferret looking thing?
That looks like a ferret. It might be one of those. We got these guys over here. Let me see what it's called.
Hexalina Pulsalot. She posted this video where an owner of a ferret threw down the stairs a toy, and the ferret runs after that toy, but then immediately after dumped a bucket of toys over the stairs, and it started catching up with the ferret, and the ferret was like, "Oh, toys! Which one do I pay attention to?" And then just started, like I've been disrupted.
Too much, man.
And the quote
Too
was
much
like, plebs whenever Pulse Chain launches. All these new coins coming into the mix.
It's gonna be horrible. Like, it's gonna be so hard not to do anything. You just have to remind yourself, like, most of the people who got a lot of ether lost most of the ether during the first ICO, like the first shit going round. So there's gonna be a lot of people who wanna. Thank you, sir.
Highway likes it.
We try to represent. So, what was I talking
Let's
about?
put your sons in suits next time, huh? Yeah.
Yeah,
his last video
yeah,
had his two boys on one screen and him on the other
yeah,
explaining
yeah. I
things.
saw it. Yeah, I was supposed to comment. Hopefully I did. I try to make it my business. I really like the videos. Like it's important to teach your kids these things. Like there's a couple of things that are really important to learn by yourself because clearly you're not taught those things in school, and a lot of them have to do with finances. But then, like biology is something that is not spoken about enough, in my opinion. Like people don't understand like simple biology. That's why I don't know if I want to take it that far on your channel, but like the whole CO2 craziness is sort of a sort of like a symptom of the fact that people don't understand science.
Break that down.
Well, like now that we're trying to bring the CO2 levels down to like some previous level, like under 400 parts per million. Because I remember when I was like in my 20s or something, we went across 300 parts per million of carbon dioxide. And now we've gone over 400 parts per million, and that seems like a lot because it's a 25% increase in the amount of carbon. But that is still,
Got a kettle on the stovetop. Just a second.
yeah, since I don't think there's not much going on in the chat, I'll just continue with my. Hopefully, you can hear me because it's probably just you and me. But, anyways, well, there you are.
My kettle was a tootin'.
Yeah, yeah, that's fine. So
Sorry, that was bad.
what was I talking about? I got confused again.
Just under 400 parts per
Oh yeah,
million.
so 400 parts per million. So we've increased from 300 parts per million to 400 parts per million, and intuitively that sounds scary because it's like a 300 to 400. That's like a 33% increase almost in the amount of CO2. Of course, you need to know that when life began on Earth, our conditions were such that we had like 6,000 to 12,000 parts per million when life began. This also includes the time when coral reefs came to be. So all the talk about coral reefs dying because of CO2 acidifying the ocean is complete bullshit because corals were they came out of an acidic ocean like that, so they can like they'll do wonderful with a bit more higher CO2. But the problem is that we as humans we have a difficulty in understanding such big numbers like 300 parts per million versus 400 parts per million is different to grasp because million is such a big number. So if we bring the bigger number down to a more manageable size, let's say I use like a small football stadium or like a sports arena as an example, and if you imagine 10,000 people fit into the arena when it's jam packed full of people, like all the seats are full, it's exactly 10,000 people. Now, if we imagine that that stadium represents all the gases in the atmosphere, so every oxygen or like oxygen had their representatives over there, and nitrogen would be like over 70% of the entire population would be nitrogen. If we have 400 parts per million of carbon dioxide, do you know how many people would be carbon dioxide in the stadium of 10,000 people if we use the same reference numbers that we have? That would mean 4 people
4. Yeah.
out of 10,000. So we're going ape shit out of a change which is minuscule over a period of over 100 years. From like 3.5 people to 4 people out of 10,000 is the change. And carbon dioxide is a gas that like no plant lives without carbon dioxide, and the increased carbon dioxide is clearly provable. Like you can see it from the satellite imagery, and you can see it from the greening of the edges of deserts, because they can produce just a bit more effectively on the sort of the outskirts of the deserts, or where the desert is sort of encroaching into like livable land. There you can see that that effect is slowing down because the plants can hang on for that much longer.
So good thing or bad thing? What's going on here?
Sorry?
Are we okay, or are we going into complete catastrophe, as
Not
Sepp
because
Holster
of
would say?
CO2. Not because of CO2. And like Josh, if you wanna try what it feels like to have a really high CO2, like you can get to 2,000 parts per million in like a classroom. If there's a lot of people, it's warm, there's no ventilation, you get up to the thousands pretty quickly. So it just feels stuffy. But there isn't a single plant that wouldn't thrive in conditions with a bit more CO2. And the thing that all the climate scientists are sort of baffled about is the fact that now that they would have to update their climate model to take into account the electric forces between the sun and the earth, because that was a thing that uh, there was a group of people that made a big fuss about the fact that climate scientists didn't take into account any electric effects between the sun and the earth when they did their calculations on how CO2 affects global warming. And that's a huge mistake, because that means that the sun can only warm the earth by shining a light on it, which leaves out a huge swath of the electromagnetic sort of the spectrum. And all of the other effects are then counted as being effects of CO2, and by that method being our fault. But in fact, it's only an effect of the sun.
Okay, so back to I'm trying
We're
to
not gonna like
judge your
CO2.
meter here.
CO2 is not gonna destroy us. It's an integral part of life. We need it to survive, and any changes in the weather that we experience are due to the sun, and the sunspot activity. And there's like I think it's a 24-year cycle, and it goes on to like a longer cycle, eventually to like a 6,000, 12,000, and a 24,000 year cycle.
Okay.
And we're coming to an end of a 24,000 year cycle, which means that we're gonna probably warm up quite a bit, and then I don't know. There's gonna be like we're probably gonna experience like major discomfort over it, but there's no point in like there's nothing we can do about it. It's the sun, and
So lately in the chat, we've been
Bitfinex.
posting.
Hi.
Howdy, howdy. Lately in the chat, we've been like the Telegram chat, the Hex Foodies chat. We've been posting videos from Paul Wheaton and Jack Spirko, right? How do they feel about this topic comes up because of carbon, right? Because of
To me, it
CO2,
sounds
I
like
mean.
they. To me, it sounds like they agree with me.
Sweet.
Jack thinks that the CO2 trading thing is a complete ripoff, which it is. Of course, it clearly is. It has no, like, there's no amount of taxes that we can pay to change the weather. That's just ridiculous. So any like CO2 trading is just a way to get money into the hands of the people that push it.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, what was that one presidential candidate who was with ran against Bush?
Oh, Gore.
Yeah, Gore is a big proponent of CO2 trading and stuff. If you remember his documentary from the year 2000, I think it was, he had the chart with the CO2 going up like a hockey stick. You remember like he had the stupid lift on stage to bring him up to the thing because it was going so high. Do you remember?
We should look that up.
Did you like it? Fucking, you can't find it anywhere. On, of course you can. Like it's on Odyssey and Rumble, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But on that documentary, he says live on stage to those people that by 2015 we will be able to sail through the North Pole.
Mm.
And I've been looking, and not
And New
even
York would be underwater by then, right?
yeah, and I've been looking, and not even terribly hard. But I found newspaper articles from 1920 where a scientist from Sweden says that within his lifetime, his children will be able to sail across the North Pole without any fear of hitting an iceberg. Do you know whose grandpa it was? Greta Thunberg.
Greta. Yeah, I was about to say,
Yeah.
who's the figurehead out of that area? Yep.
What kind of a, like, Alfred Nobel is probably the best known, like, Scandinavian scientist, I would imagine.
What's one of her favorite quotes of yours?
Whose? Greta's.
Yeah.
How dare you?
How dare, how dare you?
Yeah. One other golden one was blah blah blah. I really liked it. That was like they really made an effort with that one.
Have you seen my garden layouts that I've been putting on the chat?
I did, yeah.
So they're really messy, and they're designs that I've had sitting around, and I've just been wanting to manicure them. But this is step one. So I
Can you pop them up
submitted
on
8
the
of them,
screen?
8 total.
Put them on screen.
If you have a space for 20 by 20, in your lawn or something, consider mulching the whole thing and then just plopping down these already designed beds.
That's how I'm gonna do my beds. I'm
And
just
I've got
gonna
the situation where,
kill
like,
the
I
grass.
wrote out the name of each of the plants that agree with each other. And so I believe as long as they find an okay spot with their roots, then they'll be comfortable mingling with the other plants that are placed around them above ground. So I just wanted sort of a cookie cutter thing. I'm trying to figure out how to pull it up.
You're gonna have to. You're gonna have to share your. You're gonna have to share your Telegram unless you download the file to your computer and then share it from the share screen or something. How dare you?
Greta's just
Howdy.
saying howdy. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's just real. Like it makes me so sad because like I hear 20-something-year-olds talking about not having babies because they're so desperate over the climate, and that is like that's like playing into somebody else's playbook, not into your own. And another thing that's really been bugging me lately, I don't know if it's that much permaculture related, but all the young men who go and have themselves neutered and then brag about it on Twitter, it makes
Oh
no
my
fucking
goodness.
sense.
I thought you
I
weren't on
just had
Twitter.
my balls cut. No, but I see the screen caps on
Hmm.
on Telegram sites I visit.
How's the Finland streams? I saw you did like 2 in a day. Or
Did I?
2
Or
in 2
maybe I
days.
did. Yeah, I think I did two in 2 days. Yeah, yeah. I need to like really like pick up the pace because otherwise I won't be able to have any friends with me when shit hits the fan. And it looks like it's gonna happen pretty quick.
Right on time. Okay. Here we
There you go.
are.
Now
Oh,
we can
yeah.
see it
All right.
there.
So let me start out with the ones at the top.
If you go up to where it says HEX foodies, you can see just the files that we shared. If you go up,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, there. There's the
Where?
three where the three dots are.
I don't think that's right.
Uh,
It's at the top of this, the list of
oh,
people.
yeah, or click on the name. I
I
think it might be
deleted some
there.
people recently. That's why I was at the bottom of that.
Yeah, okay.
Files,
There,
right? Or
photos,
photos.
photos. There.
But still, that whenever I
Look at
click
that.
on that,
If
it
yeah,
shows it bigger for me, but it doesn't show it bigger for you.
bummer. And if you're a big SJ fan, as you can see, she posts regularly for our viewing pleasure. So you get to see her as well. Not only Davin's drawings, but also occasional SJ pops
SJ
up
with
there.
a
Woohoo!
heart-shaped broccoli.
Yeah.
That's cool. This certain plan, again, these are meant to be 20 feet by 20 feet wide and just a implementation block. Just boom, slap it down on there. I've got south is downward on this. That's this arrow, south arrow. Typically,
Yeah.
drawings will have a north arrow instead of a south arrow. I'm just trying to say that goes towards the sun. And this is an herb spiral. So it graduates towards the middle. Here's the low part. And eventually this spiral graduates upward. And the idea is that plants over time can navigate to a place that they feel comfortable given the landscape.
Mm.
They also, some plants will want more sun, some plants will want more shade behind each other.
Yeah. And there's also like differences in water retention. So if some plant wants to be in a drier spot, it usually finds a drier area in a spiral like that.
And you might
I've
be able
actually
to
made
start it at the top.
yeah, I've made one like that where I had like a pipe in not like smack in the center, but like adjacent to the center of the spiral. I had a like I wonder how much that could have been, like maybe 35-40 centimeters across a pipe, like like bigger than your foot. Like you can put your tennis shoe into the pipe, so it's fairly substantial size. And you
Hmm.
drill holes into it, like about pinky sized holes, every like here and there, and put it into the ground in the spiral, and then you fill it halfway up with old horse manure and
Do you
Then put
water it
like,
there?
no, you put food scraps on top, and
Mm,
then cover the thing with like a mosquito net, and then some kind of a plate or something to weigh it down, and compost worms. You put compost worms in it.
very
Compost
nice.
worms eat all the food scraps. Then, when the sun is shining and it gets hot, they go down into the manure. If it's really warm, they go from the holes into the beds and take all the manure goodness with them to the plants there.
I like
And
that.
you can pump a shitload of bio waste into that pipe. It just disappears. Don't
Hmm.
put any meat in it or cheese or dairy. Usually dairy, it doesn't go well in your garden anyways, so you don't probably want to, don't put any cheese in your worm bin.
Okay.
But that's awesome. I'm gonna have several different, we've started two of those bokashi type, those Korean compost things where you use what is it, lactic acid fermentation first to go through your compost, and then it takes a couple of weeks for the batch to sort of cycle through, and then you can feed it to your worms. And there's this juice that comes out of it, which you can extract and give it to your plants, and looks like it's pretty potent stuff.
I had no idea that that was a thing.
Yeah, me
Never have
neither.
heard of
The
that.
missus, the missus saw
Lactic
it. I
acid
like
from Korea.
yeah. I just like, I had seen something about it, but like online earlier, but that seemed so far out there that I was like, no, I'm not gonna freaking that, because that's how you preserve sauerkraut and stuff. Like, I'm not preserving my bio waste, but actually, it's like yeah. Apparently, they like retain a lot of the nutrient content, and it's perfectly good for the worms after you've sort of cycled it through. But that's weird. I'm gonna I'm gonna show it to you guys once I start dismantling that, and we can have a sniff together and see how it smells like.
Sounds great.
Yeah,
Take the GoPro down there.
yeah. I also, I've had like a one of those regular type of worm composts, which basically is like two plastic crates that cradle on top of each other in a way that there's a space between them, and I just drilled holes in the top container and used that for all the food scraps and stuff, and that's where the worms are. And if there's any worm juice that drops out, it drops into the lower receptacle, and then I can like drain it out if I need to, or just like let it dry out over time.
Some people keep that like inside the house
Yeah, I
underneath
had
the
it. Yeah,
countertop.
yeah, I
Hmm.
had it under the stairs. It
Okay.
smells like nothing. Like, you can feed it every day, and the worms go through about 4 times their body weight in a day. So if you have like a milk carton full of worms, that could be easily be like half a kilo or something of worms. So that's like 2 kilos of food scraps. There's no way we're gonna make 2 kilos of food scraps. I don't know how much that is in American, but that's way too much leftover food for a household of my size.
Hmm. So I wonder what plants or fruits or whatever. What is it that your family looks forward to when you
Like to
when you're
grow.
yeah, when you're planting and you're transporting that dirt from the front of your house to the back of your house, making these plants or these
Yeah,
planters, what is it that everybody's all gearing up towards?
I don't know. Like, it's like me and the missus are the ones who are the most excited over this. The kids probably know that there's chores to be made, so I would imagine they're not too hot about the entire project. But like we're gonna have potatoes and tomatoes, paprika, like bell peppers.
Do you have any sort of
Several.
reward for your kids, like whenever they find rocks,
Yeah, I don't beat
throw it
them,
over here or there? Okay.
and they also get some food. So there's like a double reward, like the carrot and none of the stick. Is that how it works? No, no. We're probably gonna have to bribe them quite a bit, but generally they're more interested than your average kid their age about what goes on, about the goings on of like the underground. So they're really into worms and
Sweet.
stuff. Yeah.
So this plan here, again, these things are really, really rough. I just wanted to get them out of the stage of notes that I've had for multiple years. I scanned these designs a long time ago, so it took a bit of examining in order to figure out what I was trying to tell my future self. But this is just a layout of flat beds. Um, I believe the idea here is that whenever they exist in a row together, then they can exist next to each other. As far as plants promoting each other, plants not disagreeing with each other, and possibly the heights that they grow as well would be important in a scenario like this where it's all flat. Again, the southern sun is facing downward. This next one, I've got 4 different fruit tree guilds and a pathway between them, and so it's sectioned quad wise.
Yeah.
Do you got anything to say here?
What trees do you have there? Let's see.
Apple, peach, apricot, and loquat.
Oh man,
Loquat's something that
There's like
won't
one
grow around
that I
yours.
could. There's one that I can grow over here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I've not
You
seen a
can't do
single.
apricot.
I've not seen a single peach ever
Oh,
like
goodness.
survive the winter. And it won't, like, kids. Global warming is not coming. Like, you won't be growing peaches over here. We're going the other way. Like, just like a quick spoiler. We're gonna go the other way.
Do you have a greenhouse?
Not yet. We're looking into buying like one of those tunnel things. And if I get the missus convinced that we're gonna get a big enough greenhouse, I'm gonna have chickens in it over the
Oh,
winter.
sweet.
Yeah, tell me about it. And then like we're gonna have deep bedding in the greenhouse, and then come spring, we're just gonna put the chickens are gonna go for a nap in the freezer, and I'm gonna turn over the just the soil in, because it's gonna be just the deep bedding and chicken manure. I'm just gonna turn it over, maybe cover it with a tarp for a couple of weeks, and see that there's no stupid seeds wanting to sprout in the wrong places, and then just make the beds and get into like it. Yeah, it's gonna be sweet. And it's more than likely I'm gonna have to build some kind of a chicken tractor this coming summer,
Mhm.
and some kinds of like nests for laying hens, some type of stuff where it can. I don't know if I'm gonna make something that closes by remote control or if it closes automatically. But yeah, we're gonna need something where they can go and what's it called when they sleep. Anyways, they need a place to sleep and they need a place to lay eggs.
So, are you interested in a design that a friend of mine down the street had developed?
Well, actually, there's this British fella who I've shared plenty of his videos, and he has like really top-notch plans, and he's
Sweet.
got like maybe 15 years under his belt already. So even like I don't want to poo poo on your
Perkins?
yeah, I don't want to
Okay.
poo poo on your mate's plans, but I really appreciate the sort of the know how from actually doing it for a fuck long time.
Yeah.
Oh, so, I'm sorry.
My
Excuse me.
friends stays in one
My
place. He
bad.
doesn't even need to be a tractor.
Yeah. I well, I would prefer to move them around so that it doesn't start to smell.
Yeah. I mean, it's capable of moving around. I'm sorry, but he actually keeps it in the same place. He's he's a guy who really investigates things and works on something, and then just moves on to the next thing. And then now that thing that was his hobby is now just an ornament in his lawn or something on the shelf. So he's huge into radios. Has Linux on his
My
computer.
kind of guy, clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Built his own chicken tractor. Buys um, truck and trailer equipment and lawnmowers, and
Yeah.
utilizes those for extra little gigs here and there. But I've been talking to him telling him for a while that I might be interested in creating three-dimensional model and laying it out in plans, just like I did the solar dehydrators and the wood-fired ovens out at Permies.com.
I'm
So I
gonna
was
have to
thinking
build.
I could utilize Permies.com and maybe spread this knowledge to more people. The chicken tractor, but he's got a few ideas on how to tweak some things like distributing water to all the
Mm.
birds, and just a few things like oh I'd put the hinges on this other side. Um, he
Yeah.
he refortified something about the roof. He gave it more of a roof after looking at it for a while, and he had it to where like their run was just a cage, and he realized that he needed to bring the roof from the the main compartment where they stay at night out over the top of that.
Hey, pop us over to like fill the screen there's nothing else you want to show us.
Oh, there is more that I want to show
All
because I
right.
did 8 of these things and I
Oh
want to
man,
brag about it for a
I
little
didn't
while.
see all of these.
Yeah, so this one, the idea is that it's a keyhole, right? Where you're going into the center of an area and utilizing your reach inside there, as well as being able to circle the perimeter and utilize your reach. So this one has a fruit tree right in the middle. That fruit tree is labeled a peach. So please replace that if you're in Finland. And once again, all of these plants agree with each other, and they agree with the peach being so close to it. And then
How high?
also,
If you think about like the height of the wall over there, were you thinking like
no
just
walls
like a
here.
couple of bricks high or something,
I
or
wasn't even
just
thinking
like a pathway?
walls. Yeah,
Okay.
you could use walls if you would like, but
Yeah, I did one of those where I used bricks, uh, bricks.
I use pricks and I just lay them all out in my lawn and I tell them to stay there
Yeah.
as I cover them with dirt.
Stand in attention.
So south is down or to the right in this image, so just anywhere within that angle.
Yeah,
And the reason why is because the idea is that there are plants that are shorter on that southern side, or in some cases, plants that are taller that'll continue to cast more shade,
yeah.
like the shade from
Or
this
you could
tree.
have, or you could have the pathway just pointing downhill, if if you can place it whichever way, like towards that direction, south to sort of down, or to the left. Just turn it in a way that it points directly downhill the pathway.
Yeah.
For instance, like that would probably make it look like it sits on the landscape pretty sort of, because if it's sort of slanted towards the slope of the landscape, it would feel out of place. But that might be just me with my neurosis. I don't know.
Here's another one where it graduates in rows as it goes north. We've got trees up here at the top, and okra, tomatoes down here at the bottom, squashes.
It's very nice, very nice.
I like this one. It like has a little bit of character to it.
Yeah, and actually, you could, like, if you just spread the space between the rows, you could see that as something like you could go like 200 meters this way and 100 meters this way, and just do a slight variation on that single row. But imagine if you increase the space between the rows so that you can go back and forth with a tractor, because then you would have like a you could have like bushes and like berry trees and shrubs, and then like fruit trees and bigger trees, and then you could have like a small stretch where you could like actually farm something, and then another layer, so you would have like this but in a much grander scale. You could even run animals between the lanes there. I like this a lot.
So here I do have plantings underneath the trees as ground cover, and then I do have some shrub sort of layers here with like blackberries and stuff, to where you can manage those blackberries either side.
Yeah, and you could like I don't know if they pick them with a machine. Do you like?
That's what the
Is
kids are for.
blackberry? Yeah, I know. Yeah. But mine are always busy washing the cars, so I was thinking that there'd be like a machine that picks the berries, or like I really don't want to make more kids.
I really don't think that there is.
We could
a
use
good
other people's
blackberry
kids if we
picking
pay
machine.
them.
So I was thinking about this just yesterday. Like I'm starting to see a lot of things pop up, and I'm starting to see my yard become such a great specimen. And it would just be absolutely lovely in the future to have relations with other people in the neighborhood of just have your kid collect some stuff and throw me
Yeah,
a few dollars or a favor or something.
yeah,
But
that'd be
that's
wonderful.
that's
Hey, check this.
me
Check
being
this.
lazy. Just come and grab it. I don't care. Come and grab it.
Imagine like
I did the work yesterday. I staked the hex yesterday. Go ahead.
yeah, like let's say this summer when it's really nice outside. Over here it doesn't get dark ever, so we could do a stream from our backyards. You could be like in your backyard, I'd be in my backyard. We could like everybody,
That
like I don't
sounds.
know if you can. It's probably illegal for you to have an open fire, but we could do it anyways.
No, I have
Until
fires all the time.
yeah, but we could like roast some fry some sausages or whatever you guys do.
This
Hot
is
dogs.
during the day or during the evening
I don't care,
that
man.
your little dream is
I'm
happening.
practically unemployed. Retired, so I don't care. we can do it for a week if you're up to.
Take the tent outside.
Yeah. Did you like the? By the way,
The back and forth, or what? I did not
last
go to
one.
this link, by the way.
Yeah, you can click on it.
Did you see how this was all grayed
Yeah,
out?
click on it.
I don't
Click
want
on
to.
it. No,
No.
I wrote it. It's safe. It's nothing dirty.
I'll
That's
go
called
to it later.
That's called a spoiler. Do you know how it works? You can do those yourself if you want to write something that has a spoiler in it, but you don't want to
I
like
had no
spoil
idea.
something. Yeah,
So they
that's awesome. You
just make
click
it
on
a.
it and then it reveals it.
I thought you did that on accident.
No. Just when you click on it, I think it says you own nothing and you'll be happy.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Leonardo Flores, welcome to the group. We see you join.
Welcome, sir.
To continue with this theme of these 20 by 20s that you could implement, just literally go to the chat, click on this thing, and print it out. This is 11 inches tall and 8.5 wide, so it's the size of a letter document. This one here, 2 fruit trees with guilds, and so it's got a path right down the middle. The sun is to the south or to the bottom again, and I guess because my past self, I suppose, was designing these to where you could walk all the way around it in the 20 by 20 space. So you could see, these things could be placed right next to each other. You could grab another one and plug it in right next to it. Please keep this in mind. It's an easy way to get started on something instead of just wasting away your spring. Oh my goodness, look at Finbear.
Check me out. I'm doing a mild mind melt with the universe, man. I'm becoming one with everything. See, check it. I'm still a bit behind on my sort of lighting solutions. So this is what happens when the sun sets over here really fast. I've got no lights on in the room, so I just disappeared. I tried fixing the settings, but it just made it worse or better, whichever way. I think actually a bit better. Hit me up on full screen, and we get a good thumbnail for the video.
Oh yeah.
See. No, we'll hide the microphone. Check this.
Did it wrong. Do it. Just do whatever you want to do. I'll get it later.
This is pretty cool. We're closing in on 1 hour. Since we started a bit late, is it okay if we quit a bit early?
Yeah.
Because I gotta go and frighten the kids to bed.
But let me get over these things. So
yeah,
that
I'll
was
turn off my camera because
2 tree guilds.
Too hot.
And then this one is hugelkultur mounds. So here again, south is to the bottom, 20 by 20. Got a mound here, and so the crest of the mound will be here where I'm putting my cursor. And then so there's a slope down that way, and then there's a slope down that way, and on all the sides.
Yeah.
Same thing over here, and then 3 different trees. Do them as high as you can. And I was thinking about how like you could
up to your eyebrows.
You could chainsaw the logs that you put underneath these things in order for them to hold their position so that you can put the dirt on them so that you can create this structure. I was thinking about that the other day. I hadn't seen it to where like somebody actually took the time to Lincoln log the logs upward and then pile all the dirt on there. But the idea is that you want dirt up against all the wood surfaces, no air gaps inside there for critters to get to and make burrows. What we want is the fungi city. We want the water to get in there and stay in there.
Hey, I had this idea. What about loosely filling the cracks between the logs with like burnt horse manure or something?
I don't know. I would think that surface area for everything is what you want.
Yeah.
I don't understand what you mean by burnt. Oh, burnt, just
Well,
used.
burnt,
Huh?
just like it's been out for a couple of months and already like on its
Hmm.
way to being ready compost. So like the hot phase is already over.
I'd mix it in there, but I wouldn't make it to where it was a substantial amount. Instead, take some soils that um, I
Yeah, my idea was that because there's a lot of carbon in the logs, just adding a little bit of nitrogen, well, actually quite a substantial amount of nitrogen into the pile would maybe help it uh, like compost a bit faster.
I just mix all that stuff in there rather than having a concentrated space.
Yeah, yeah,
Those are my quick thoughts about it.
yeah. Probably wouldn't hurt, but yeah, I don't know. Like I'm just gonna have it in there somewhere. I'm gonna also make a Hugel mound on one side of my property. As it happens, they just had these big ass machines take down quite a big chunk of the forest behind our property. So there's a lot of branches and thinner trunks that they're just gonna leave there. They don't even they just leave it there to rot and feed the microbes and stuff. So they just leave it into the forest floor. So I'm just gonna go and pick it up when it gets darker. That's when all the neighbors come out. Like we've not lived here for like a year and a half or something, and it was pretty surprising that over here, like people are pretty open about their like. We just go and steal the firewood once the machine leaves. We'll just go. They've come out with their own chainsaws. Like I've seen all kinds of get-ups over there.
Hmm.
Like you can imagine, like an old man with his wife and like a chainsaw and a couple of bicycles, and see, like, try to think of a way to bring a few armfuls of firewood home on your evening stroll. So
I'd
it's
like
been
to see a
pretty.
picture of that.
Yeah, I've been taking some videos, but I don't think I'm gonna share because yeah,
The
I don't wanna embarrass anybody. But
the woman with a dress or something riding a bicycle, holding a few logs,
yeah,
trying to keep her balance.
yeah, or sharing one log between two bikes, so one has the other end and the other one has the other end, and then you're like a like a school bus.
I saw a
Walking.
golden retriever down the street, picked up a branch that was like 10 feet long and was just
Yeah,
like walking on its
yeah,
with on its leash with its owner. Just like,
yeah,
oh, there's nothing wrong with this.
yeah,
Just covering up half the road.
yeah.
Just
I had a Great Dane, and he oh she was a like, well, I say she was a puppy, but she weighed like more than my missus at the time already. So she was already like a pretty substantial size dog, and she carried like things that other people just gave up. They were like, "Oh my god, what is that?" Because like I remember, like in dog parks, people had Rottweilers or something, and they're like really proud about like how strong their bite is or something like that.
hmm.
And the Rottweiler is carrying like a log in its mouth, like about the size of your thigh, but
Wow.
not like a long one, but still like a fairly big one.
Like mouth
And
wide open.
and the owner is like really proud of, like, check it out. And my dog is coming, and she's practically carrying like a bench made out of logs in her mouth. She's going like, Jesus Christ, check her out. And then we're like humble bragging to each other, like how uh, amazingly strong the dogs are. But she was like ridiculously strong. And I don't know if it's a breed thing, but she was really proud when she got to carry something that was super heavy.
That's exactly how this dog was. It was just
Yeah.
so proud. Who's looking at me?
Yeah, check me out. This is massive. And some of the stuff that she carried was so big that it was like a chore to move the stuff out of the way when she dropped it.
Oh gosh.
Yeah,
Um,
great dogs.
back to the plan. This one was worked out the least. For some reason, it had the number 1 out of all 8 of them. South is down again, 20 by 20. And the idea here is the different size of rows fit the different plants and how fast you would want to acquire them, pick them, and everything. How often would you visit them? With some fruit trees in the middle. So this is something where it's like rows, but with everything instead of just selective plants.
Hmm.
Yeah. And then each one of the plans that have these little notes up in the corner, they actually are specific to that set of plans. So read them if it
Yeah.
is that you care to investigate these things.
And if we want to really make these go viral, we can start a rumor that you, because you were so stressed out, you by mistake wrote all your seed phrases into these drawings. So between the mustard and kale somewhere, it might be like word number 13. We would have
Seed
people
phrases
go
to
through.
my fake account, right?
Yeah. Well, whatever. Like if somebody found seed phrases in your drawings, they'd be looking for them all over the place.
I think about that sort of thing. Like what games could we play? Could we
Oh,
stake out 5555 and then cache it like into the landscape somehow, and
I've been for a
like a
while
treasure
already.
hunt?
Yeah, for a while already, I've been uh, entertaining myself with all kinds of plans on how we could like fake all kinds of emergencies, just tailored for you specifically, to
Mm.
make you believe that everything is going to hell, and like you've already basically given up like hope that it's gonna go well, but then well, maybe if I just wait a minute, I have the cryptos, I could probably save us all. And then you type your keywords into the computer and burr, burr, game over. You gave away your keys. Beep, burp. This
Well,
was
cool,
awesome.
man.
This was a cool quote.
Yeah. That was on the backside of a business card of a guy who uh, was involved in correctional stuff in California before he moved here for retirement. And he helped out in the community garden with the church that I helped create this community garden with. Um, so he's a real good guy. Recently, he's had some health problems, but he's trying to bounce back from it and stay effective, stay purposeful in our community. And so I saw this
Yeah,
quote and I had to take a picture and post it. That was actually
yeah.
just last
Powerful
week,
stuff.
exactly a week
Like a
ago.
dream where you go to work naked.
I'd win the lottery in that dream, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. But hey, Davin, I gotta
Yeah,
make a break for it because, yeah, everything,
we're
yeah,
out of here. Say
it's
goodbye.
pandemonium over here, man. Thanks, guys. It's been cool, and we'll see you again next week. Remember, subscribe, uh, leave a comment, like, do all that good stuff.
Like and share.
Thank you. Bye bye.